Hello, world. My name is Jenny, and welcome to the very first episode of Jen's Poké Talk, a channel where I talk about Pokemon and everything I love about Pokemon. I started watching the Pokemon anime when I was 7 years old. I really love the anime not just because of the Pokemon creatures themselves, but I also enjoy watching the main characters grow and change in every episode. I'm also always learning something new about Ash and his friends in the series, which makes it even more fun. My strong interest in the Pokemon franchise is the reason I started to get into the anime series and also the reason why I want to become a voice actor in the Pokemon anime. That's my dream. My dream is also to inspire and make dreams come true for children all over the world, just like they did for me. That's how much Pokemon means to me. I was 14 years old when I got my first Pokemon game, Pokemon Sapphire. I still have it to this day and try to play it whenever I get the chance. Even though I have played the spin off games like Pokemon Ranger and Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, I really got bored after finishing the main story in them because there would be nothing new to do. I would rather just enjoy the challenge of catching different Pokemon and battling powerful trainers even after the main goals of the story are accomplished. I also love to collect Pokemon plush dolls. Puka here, my Pikachu, was the very first plush doll and the very start of catching all these other Pokemon plush dolls that I have right behind me and right above me. In today's very first episode, I'll start off by talking about my top favorite Pokemon from all 18 types. My very first Pokemon favorite, besides Pikachu, was Butterfree. Ever since I saw her debut as Ash's partner in the anime, I've loved it ever since. It's so beautiful, majestic. Plus, I love seeing the bond in the anime with Ash and his Butterfree, as he went from Caterpie to Metapod to Butterfree. So when I got my copy of Pokemon Leaf Green, I used a Butterfree named Violet in my entire playthrough of the game. She was really helpful, especially at the 5th gym where she had a huge advantage against the poison type Pokemon. My favorite dark type is Zoroark. I have loved this Pokemon since its appearance in Pokemon Zoroark and the Master of Illusions. I enjoyed seeing the bond this Zoroark shared with her foster child, Zorora, so when Black 2 and White 2 came out, I got the chance to use N Zorora, which became a Zoroark eventually, and carried me through the challenge against the champion, which was very tough. My favorite dragon type is Dragonair. Dragonair was another Pokemon I fell in love with in the Gen 1 anime series. And I finally got to use my first one in Leaf Green, but it took a long time to get it because I did the Rocket Game Corner, and man, I think it took me like 3 or 4 hours just to get one Dratini from the Game Corner, which I feel like is a ripoff because it's Team Rocket. Come on. But in the end, it was worth evolving my Dratini into Dragonair. I also have a shiny one in my Pokemon Go game, which I named Sapphire. She is so gorgeous. The very first shiny Dratini I ever got in my game. My favorite electric type Pokemon is Pikachu! Specifically, my partner Puka here. I've had her since I was, I think, about 8 or 9 years old, and I got her as a gift from my parents on Christmas Day. I'm glad I got Puka because she was the very first one who'd start all of my collection, and she's my very best buddy. And besides that, Pikachu was the first Pokemon I ever loved when the anime started. When Let's Go Pikachu came out on the Switch in 2018, I was excited to have a Pikachu as my starter in that game. I love how Game Freak incorporated Ikyo Otani's voice in the Japanese from the Japanese version and English version of Pikachu. It made it feel like I was playing in the anime with Ash as well, even though he wasn't in the game. So, my favorite fairy type Pokemon is Gardevoir. I've loved her since Pokemon Sapphire, and I enjoyed using her on my Hoenn region team. She really helped me out a lot against a lot of Pokemon trainers. And having the stab of the fairy type added to her typing, and that made it even better, especially when it mega evolved. It looks so gorgeous in its gown, especially when it uses Moonblast in the air. I think that's the coolest thing ever. My favorite fighting type Pokemon is Lucario. This was actually the first fighting type I ever liked in any of the games. Ever since its debut in Pokemon Lucario, The Mystery of Mew, I loved seeing how gallant and noble Lucario is, especially when he went to find out with Ash and his friends to find out what happened to his master in the movie. And I love hatching my own Lucario from an egg. Although I wish I could have gotten a girl. For some reason, I like female Pokemon a lot. I guess it's because I've had a lot of female figures in my life, so having a male Lucario is okay, I guess, but I prefer having a female Lucario, which was easier to get in Black 2 and White 2 later on. My favorite fire type Pokemon is Ninetales. I first fell in love with Vulpix, its pre evolved form, watching the Pokemon anime as a child. When I saw Ninetales in the Pokemon anime in the episode The Battling Eevee Brothers, I really wanted one. It looks so gorgeous. I have this system where I'd let my Pokemon bond with me first as as trainer and partner before I evolve them because I like connecting with Pokemon first before I let them evolve, especially if it is with a stone evolution. My favorite flying type Pokemon is Noivern. When Ash hatched the Noibat in the Pokemon Kalos Quest anime, I fell in love with Noibat right away. Noibat's such a cute little flying dragon, and seeing Ash catch one in the anime made me want one even more. And when it evolved into Noivern in Pokemon XYZ, oh my god, it blew me away just like its move Boomburst. My favorite ghost type Pokemon is Hisuian Zoroark. Hisuian Zoroark is such a cool looking Pokemon, and it's totally different from other Pokemon that are ghost types in the series. Even though it's eerie looking and menacing and all sorts of weird stuff that revolves around a ghost type, I love it anyway. There's just something about it that it just caught my attention. It looks so freaking cool. I mean, come on. My favorite grass type Pokemon is Lurantis. I've loved Lurantis since the Pokemon Sun and Moon games came out in 2016. Lurantis is a cool and elegant mixture of a praying mantis with flower like features, and using Lurantis in Pokemon Moon was also really fun for me because she has so many good attacks, like X Scissor and Solar Blade. Although I didn't like having to battle a Totem Lurantis in the games, that thing with combined with either Cast Form or and Trumbeak took me a while with my Torracat before I got that thing down. My favorite ground type is Flygon. Flygon was my favorite ground type ever since I saw Pokemon Jirachi Wishmaker. And ever since then, I've always wanted to ride on one. When Pokemon White 2 came out, I got to use it in my playthrough and get a Trapinch in the Desert Resort. My favorite ice type Pokemon is Alola Ninetales. When the forms of certain Pokemon, like Alola Meowth, was released for the Pokemon Sun and Moon games, regional variants kind of left me a little iffy when I saw the reveal on the online that year. But Alolan Vulpix and Ninetales, gorgeous, so gorgeous. And having an Ice Fairy type, it may not be good for some battles, but seeing the color of Alolan Ninetales' fur and how it can use these certain moves like Aurora Veil in battle, I cannot begin to explain how beautiful it is. Although, when I wanted to get one in my Pokemon Moon game, I was disappointed because I found out it was in Pokemon Sun instead. So I had to wait until I got Sun and Ultra Sun. But now I have the games and I'm excited to get one. My favorite normal type Pokemon is Delcatty. I have loved Delcatty since the Pokemon Generation 3 anime and even Pokemon Sapphire. Since Delcatty is a normal type, it doesn't have many resistances against certain types, except for fighting. But it does well against Ghost, and it has a substantial move set. And it's a cat. I love cat-like creatures, and I have pet cats that I grew up with since I was a child, so... Plus, if you look in the corner over there, I finally got a Skitty after many years of searching as a plush doll, so I was so happy when I found one. My favorite poison type Pokemon is Nidoqueen. Nidoqueen are known to be very caring Pokemon who like to protect the ones that they care about so much, especially their offspring. And I love that compassion so much that I wanted one as my partner. Although finding a female Nidoran was a little bit hard, especially since in Leaf Green you have to get it after the first gym in the game, I wanted one right away because the type advantage with a Charmander and a Caterpie and so on and so forth, not very helpful unless Charmander knows Metal Club. After that, Double Kick and all the other moves that Nidoqueen can learn, so cool. Plus, it can learn Brick Break. It's a lot better than Double Kick, but once it becomes a Nidoqueen and you get Brick Break, teach it that if it has a good attack nature because trust me, it'll save ya. Plus, she's a poison ground type. She has a big advantage against Pokemon trainers, especially the gyms where they have poison type trainers. Koga's especially. My favorite psychic type Pokemon is Espeon. This EV evolution is my favorite out of all 8. I even used one in my Pokemon Soul Silver games, and she helped me a lot against the Elite Four battles even though she kind of fell to the champion, but hey, she she does have a little bit of low defense, but she still carried me through, and I appreciate that for her. And her the little sound she makes, I love that. It's so cute and endearing. Plus, she's cat-like. My favorite rock type Pokemon is Lightning Rock Dusk form. Originally, I fell in love with the midday form in my Pokemon Sun and Moon games, but when the Dusk form came out, I was so excited until I found out it was an event to Pokemon. So when I found out you could get a Rockruff Dusk form in Scarlet and Violet, I was so excited. Although it's only in a few fixed spawns, so that's kind of frustrating. The dusk form is basically a combination of the midday form and the midnight form of Lightning Rock. And I love using counter from the midnight form and a Celerock from the midday form because they pack a wallop. Let me tell you, dusk form Lightning Rock is so cool. I love the orange coloring of its body, and the green color of its eyes reminds me of how it evolved at dusk. My favorite steel type is Steelix. I really love Steelix since I first saw it in the Pokemon Johto League Champions series. And seeing Jasmine use her own in this series, oh my god, that thing is so fast. Trust me, you won't be able to catch up with it unless you have powerful fire type moves because Steelix is very, very strong. Plus, seeing it use Iron Tail and with its huge tail in battle, woo! That is awesome. And seeing Steelix gain a Mega Evolution later in Generation 6, it's so pretty seeing the crystals surrounding its body. And it makes it look so intimidating in battle as well. My favorite water type Pokemon is Kingdra. Ever since its pre evolved form in the anime showed up, I fell in love with Horsey right away. It's so cute and endearing, and it knows when to stick up for itself. Since Kingdra gains the dragon type, it only has a couple weaknesses to dragon, basically. Well, actually, it gained two after Generation 6 came out, since Fairy also is very good against dragon types. It will sweep through your opponents, especially if it has its special ability Sniper, which helps with the critical hits. Plus, Kingdra is such a cool design. It looks like a older dragon like seahorse. Although it's called Dragon Pokemon, which is a little odd for me because it's a seahorse. And there you go. Those are my favorite Pokemon of each type in the Pokemon franchise. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you saw any of your favorite Pokemon, let me know in the comments below. And I also have a second channel called Jen's Pokemon EMVs, where I sing different cover songs to Pokemon clips from different episodes and movies of the franchise. So please check it out if you get a chance, and don't forget to subscribe. That's all I have for today. Until then, see you next time.